What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be removing the front subframe on my 1G. Now, to get started, I like to disconnect the steering shaft down there. It's a 12 mil. I know you can see I already disconnected that, just right there. And depending if you have power steering or not, you're going to want to disconnect your lines. Now, I have my lines looped, so they're already kind of separated. After that, we're gonna go ahead and start taking off all the 14s and 17s for these cross members and supports. So we're gonna take all that stuff off and go from there. All right, once you get your supports off, you're gonna start wanting to think about how to get your exhaust off. Your mileage may vary, as well as your transfer case. Obviously your wheels as well. I'm just kind of working under here as much as I can before I have to go up there. So exhaust, transfer case, all the supports, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Cool. Get Mr. Pry Bar and hold it so it doesn't fucking fuck your shit. Drop it down with the drive shaft. Alright, so here's the next kind of phase here. Now, what you're going to want to do is disconnect your shock from the knuckle, as well as your outer tie rod, so that you can pop out your axle. So you're going to do this for both sides. And then from there, we're actually going to remove the rear roll stop. And then from there, we're going to actually start making sure everything else is 100% disconnected and start actually removing the subframe. All right, so now I believe we have everything disconnected. Got the rear roll stop disconnected, the axles, the brakes, all of the cross members, the steering shaft, the power steering lines if you have them, transfer case and downpipe. So now it's going to be the major subframe bolts, which are I believe 17s. And then what I'm going to do now is just support the subframe with a block of wood, just so I don't damage anything here. All right, once you've got it preloaded just a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and start zipping off some hardware. All the subframe bolts are disconnected. Now, we're gonna just start kind of relieving the pressure. Kind of want to jiggle it a little bit. Sometimes it gets hung up on the steering shaft. Just keep an eye out, make sure it comes disconnected. We're gonna start lowering it down. Okay, it might, like I said, it might cause a little bit of resistance here, so you're just gonna kind of jiggle it free here. All right. There we go. Okay. Steering shaft is disconnected. So gonna kind of want to lean forward on you. I'm just gonna kind of guide this back, and don't worry about those horrid noises. That's just the suspension. Okay. Okay, so we got the front subframe out. So as you can see, this thing is tired. I mean, listen to this. Those are the lower ball joints. And in their tie rods, obviously the outers are blown too. Subframe bushings are like fucked. So yeah, putting all new fresh stuff in here. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. But first, here we have no subframe. So now my plan is to actually degrease it and go ahead and spray this black. So it should look pretty clean under here. Here's the fresh subframe and suspension components like I mentioned. So this should definitely fix all the cruddy steering response and noise that my 1G was having. I also went ahead and depowered it, so it's really easy to maneuver, and everything's just fresh in terms of suspension, and it's all tight and no, terrible noises. So should feel real nice. All right, we're back. So I went ahead and degreased. I used some purple power, degreased the suspension, or not the suspension, sorry, the chassis, up until about the heat shield there, the exhaust heat shield, because I didn't want all the grease and grime when I put all this new suspension stuff on. So I went ahead and cleaned it all up until the heat shield there. That way it looks all clean. I'm gonna go ahead and paint it black, so it's just all clean and uniform, just like the engine bay. And then it should look all nice and clean up in there. Eventually what I'm gonna do is then work on the middle section, get that all degreased and cleaned, and then the rear and then center. So like I'm gonna kind of do it in thirds. So front first, rear, middle. I'm not necessarily worried about the grime in the center of the car, because that's not really where I'm going to be working. So if ever I need to work on the suspension in the front, I just kind of want it clean and all fresh looking up here, as well as the rear. So let's go from there. The paint I'm going to be using is VHT flat black, VHT chassis, or roll bar and chassis. It's just clean, it looks good. let that dry up. But damn, that looks a million times better already.